Alrighty guys, we're back for Naya Enchantments, and this is a Final Fantasy Standard brew, and I'm Red Cat. Let's briefly go over the deck, then hop right into some ranked. We have all 4 Ethereal Armor, nice. All 4 Optimistic Scavenger, of course. We have all 4 Shardmage's Rescue, as well as all 4 Sheltered by Ghosts. These cards alone are a decent start to any enchantment shell, huh? But we are pairing them with other powerful cards like Monstrous Rage, making the cut as all 4 of them. I'm sorry, guys. Stop yelling at me. We have a couple Audacities, another way to give our towering creatures trample. We have 4 Toadstool Admirers, the Ward 2 really coming in handy. All 4 Tomakul Honor Guards, the Ward 2 really coming in handy. We have Demonic Ruckus packed in as a one-of, and a top end Calix Guided by Fate, all 4 of them packed in for a very good reason, even though it's a legendary enchantment creature. We don't mind that it's legendary. I know what you're asking. Where's the new cards? You might have spotted it already. Summon Brynhildr. It's a 2-mana 2/1 enchantment creature saga knight. Chapter 1. Exile the top card of your library. During any turn you put a lore counter on this saga, you may play that card. Now the next 2 chapters is when you next cast a creature spell this turn, it gains haste until end of turn. Beautiful stuff, huh? Gonna fit right into enchantments, hopefully. There's more new cards, though, and this is kind of important since we are a 3-color deck list. Starting Town, making the cut as a 4-of. This land enters tapped unless it's your first, second, or third turn of the game. Now you can tap it for a colorless, or you can tap it, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. Beautiful stuff, man. Gonna be great mana fixing, early game mana fixing, and then also, we don't mind taking that pain damage when we know how to gain life back with Sheltered by Ghosts, right? So other than that, we are opting for all of the early game dual lands, all 4 Thickets, all 4 Gorge, all 4 Vantage, and we do have some basics here with a couple plains, a mountain, a forest. We also have a Hushwood Verge packed in instead of like a second forest or something. Okay, some honorable mentions, guys. Feather of Flight almost made the cut. The new Summon Fenrir? Something like that. This almost made the cut as like a 1-of on the top end. Could be pretty cool. We don't really have enough basics, though. But you don't really need too many basics. Anyways, almost made the cut, guys. Belgavoth's Lair also almost made the cut. Could be great mana fixing, but I didn't want the mana to slow us down. Not even for a single turn. I didn't want to tap land, so we'll see. We'll see. Okay, guys. I do my D&D is to save the more in-depth discussion for the end of the video, so look forward to that. In the meantime, let's go ahead, take this into some ranked, see how we do. All right, we'll see if we can get right into that first game. In the meantime, what am I expecting from the build? Guys, if we see the mana we need to see, if the land is actually good here, then I think it's going to be super fast and aggressive, but we'll see, man. I opted for no mice, so uh-oh, guys. All right, that's a mulligan, huh? Much better. Okay. Still, though, only the Honor Guard as our only creature. That Ward 2 hopefully isn't going to be picked up by like a Nowhere to Run or something. I think the card that we want to send here is Demonic Ruckus, which breaks my heart a little bit because I'd love to plot that up turn 1. You know what? I'm going to send the Ethereal Armor, and we will plot up that Ruckus. I want the protection. We don't know what we're up against, right? I want the protection. I definitely want the Sheltered by Ghosts. Ethereal Armor, yeah, it breaks my heart, but anything would have broken my heart there to send, right? It's just too bad we couldn't have that as our opening hand. It happens. 3-color mana bases, you have to be prepared to mulligan often. And then you try not to worry too much that you went down to 6. Right, yeah, with Honor Guard's Ward 2 versus Rule Colors, I think we can just successfully play the Ruckus, but we could also wait because there's a chance that... Oh, we also find the Summon. Yeah, it's still Honor Guard, though. Yeah, we wait on the Ruckus because we could find an Optimistic Scavenger off the top that plays well with the extra enchantments and everything. Okay, up the beanstalk. It's Naya colors for the opponent. Oh, wait a minute, guys. Mistrise Village, it's 5 color then. Starting town's pretty good. Could start with summon, see if we find land off of it, and then go from there. Starting town will come in tapped next turn then maybe. Now this is fine. We'll start with summon. It's going to be another summon. That's actually pretty good, right? Then we can get the starting town down. That keeps Shardmage's Rescue open. We're going to go for maximum amount of damage here and not worry too much about temporary lockdown. With so much temporary lockdown being played, it's going to be one of those things where this deck list is going to get picked apart by a lockdown. So hopefully, like, they don't see lockdown number 2, because Sheltered by Ghost does pick up lockdown, but we have to get a creature down to actually deal with that. No double white source, great news for us. Looks like the Brynhildr is going to bite the dust here since they can't target the Honor Guard easily. Okay. I'd say this is worth it, because we get the other Brynhildr. Also keeping the creature around for an extra swing here. Also the Brynhildr over here gets haste too, so before playing a land, you want to get that down. We find a land. Okay. Yeah. We'll play it. We definitely don't want any more mana, though. Well, it's down to 7 here. Now, are they going to find that board wipe? Because now it opens the possibility for 4 mana board wipes. There's the temporary lockdown. Everything on the board gets picked up, guys. Even the Ruckus doesn't redraw us a card. Hey, creature off the top. Really good stuff, man. But how do we do this? We don't want to play the land. See, temporary lockdown number 2 is the scary thing. Brynhildr, C2 off the top. They draw with the up the beanstalk. Audacity. So more land. Do we play the Audacity? Oh, how does that work, guys, with the Shardmage's Rescue and Demonic Ruckus? How does that work? I don't really understand why they're under here, honestly, so... oh, it was the only creature that it could attach to. I see. Okay. Getting Audacity down just to get picked up, but also if the Brynhildrs get picked up, then the Audacity's gone anyways. So we might as well stack this on top of the other ward creature and hope they don't have lockdown number 2, right? And it is what it is if they have lockdown number 2, or Sunfall. Yeah, we do get some card draw here, guys. We're not out of this. They get temporary lockdown back. Sheltered by Ghost is pretty good. Toadstool Admirer. More mana is pretty bad, though. We don't need the starting town on the board. Yeah, I'm going to save the Sheltered by Ghost, guys. We have 4 mana open to put an extra counter on the Admirer, which is totally fine. Yeah, we can't be surprised by temporary lockdown and Sunfall slowing us down significantly. Uh-oh, guys. They're going to go ahead and take out the Admirer with an ill-timed explosion. That's not good news. Maybe they'll discard a 1-drop, and then we boost it with a... boost it with a counter, get around it. No, they're doing 5 damage to everything. We have nothing else to do. I'm going to do the Admirer's ability for fun. Now, we are pretty close to out of this, huh? Oh, Ethereal Armor would have been great last turn. Oh, no. Alright, guys, we do have to consider conceding if we don't think the opponent has 19 damage in the next few turns. Niv Mizzet, they do pass back. Calix is great, man. I wouldn't mind Sheltered by Ghost pick up the beanstalk. Uh-oh, spot removal. No, Calix, get down. Why? All right, we do have to consider conceding, guys, because this could take a while. Yeah, they don't have any damage. If we had Shardmage's Rescue in hand, maybe I wouldn't concede, because when we see a creature, there'd be a chance that they miss the board wipe. Nah, let's get more games. I think you guys will appreciate this too. Let's drop the good game. Yeah, I think we got to just get more games in. So you guys can see the Brynhildr synergies here in this game, right? It's actually really sick. Seeing the extra things off the top really should help out. And even if it's just mana too, you're still ripping mana off the top, so next turn you're not drawing mana, right? So that's kind of important. We did see a lot of mana that game, but there's going to be a lot of turns too where you want to see your mana on time. We'll see, we'll see. All right, good stuff. I like this. The opponent goes first, which is unfortunate, but we can't complain about this. It should be turn 1 Toadstool Admirer versus Midgar, right? Because spot removal galore when swamps come down. Gnarling Gorehound. Oh. Nesting bot. Oh. Okay. Raise the past style deck list then probably, right? Optimistic Scavenger. They kept whatever that was on top, which is not good news. Let's go ahead. Optimistic Scavenger number 1. Ethereal Armor onto Toadstool Admirer. Oh. Crap. We don't have double white on the board yet. Okay. Well, Audacity onto the Admirer, then extra counter. And then we don't have the swing because they have a double block. Oh, that's pretty janky, but we still want to utilize everything out of our hand, right? Calix comes down next turn. We could have put counter on Scavenger, but it already has a huge target on its back. Both of them, separate now, have a good target on their back. During Curiosity. Yeah, the opponent has good blocks until we establish the armor. I'd love to see White Source off the top, second Scavenger, and Ethereal Armor onto Toadstool Admirer would be pretty crazy. Another Scavenger tells us we should just go right into the Calix then. Right? And then all counters onto Toadstool Admirer. We swing, we push damage, we draw on Audacity. They put everything in the grave. Enduring Innocence comes back as an enchantment. And bro, how do we just have like the worst swing here? I'm going for it. Why not? Why not? If they full block, it's not completely terrible for us. Oh, they also get a... They are going to full block. Okay. Yeah, we know they like creatures in the grave, but if we held back for one more turn, what's stopping them from finding spot removal and paying the extra 2 ward? In this scenario, we restock our hand. We get Calix ability. We get some extra counters. Oh, we don't get Calix ability, guys, because we don't get the target on the Audacity. My apologies. I get confused sometimes. Yes, it does say, it does read that way. Deals combat damage to a player. You may create a token that's a copy of non-legendary enchantment you control. So you actually have to have it on the board under your control still. We do find a second Plains, which is really good, especially with all the extra scavengers in hand. If I would have been patient, there was nothing stopping them from finding spot removal for it, though. I don't know. Tough decision, man. Sheltered by Ghost. Now that is a good draw. They got chump blocks for days. I'd want ward on the Calix, probably. Sephiroth, what do you do, buddy? Okay. Whenever another creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. If this is the 4th time this ability has resolved, transform Sephiroth. Okay. That's actually pretty scary. We should probably pick up Sephiroth. And yeah, like I said, chump blockers for days, but also the Enduring Innocence could have been a pretty good one. So now that it's a 4/3/2, we can successfully full swing here. If they double block the Scavenger, it's not a terrible double block for us because any creatures off the board would be good. Okay, we're up to 23. I think it's anyone's game right now. Snarling Gorehound. Draw a card. Luckily, it's only once each turn, right? But it is keeping their hand nice and stocked up here. Blood Witch comes down. Yeah, chump blockers for days. I'm missing that Audacity right now. We do have all 4 Monstrous Rage packed in, though, too. Nesting Bot. Oh, no. Oh, no. In desperate need for trample. Starting Town. Okay, well, we can play that. And we can play Optimistic Scavenger. And we can play Ethereal Armor. And then boost Calix twice so it gets around a full block. Put the Ethereal Armor going wide here. And we don't really care about the extra lifelink, right? Yeah, we don't want all of our eggs into one Calix basket. So this is fine. 1, 2, and then 1, 2. Probably should have put another one onto this guy, actually. Does that all make sense? Yeah, now we get around the full block there. They just do 2 chumps. They probably don't block 3 into the Scavenger. And we're gaining up to 29. So chump with Nesting Bot. They get a 1/1 back. They get card draw off the Enduring Innocence. Okay. This is hard to play around, dude. This is really hard. They do go full chumps here. They go 2 into the Scavenger, getting ready for a Raise the Past, I'm assuming. Right? And then they're going to go back up to 22 here. Wait a minute, guys. Is this a board wipe style deck list? Should we be scared? They get the 1/1 back. There's the card draw. We go back down to 25. Yeah, next turn, if we see an enchantment, we should probably boost this Lonely Scavenger. Boosting wide versus this. Raise the Past. There they all are, guys. Oh, no. Guys, send help. Send help. Oh, no. And what's really funny here, we can look at it in hindsight and say, oh, man, I should have never swung with the Toadstool Admirer. But we still don't know what these cards left in hand are. We still don't know if they could have just easily dropped spot removal. But so far, I guess not, right? A Voice of Victory, Gas Guzzler. They're milling and milling and milling. Well, technically surveilling, but still. Nice opponent, nice. I don't know how we get around this, guys. I really don't. Feather of Flight from the honorable mentions would be pretty good to put some decent damage in the air. Because now even trample damage won't do too much here, unless it's significant trample damage. Also, with all the extra 1/1s on the board with Vengeful Blood Witch, yeah, we're pretty much out of this one, huh? Let's just swing. Because no matter where they block, they're going to be gaining life, we're going to be losing life. Because of the Blood Witch on the board. So it doesn't really matter. We go for it, we try for a good combat trick on Shardmage's Rescue. And then next turn they could do this all again and go for another Raise the Past. Which we'll try to play out, but we'll see. We'll see how long we think it's going to take. Because we're about to gain even more life off the Calix lifelink too. They are just going for a chump here instead of trying to take out the Calix. Do we need any combat tricks? Yes, right here. The Glory's Past. So I guess we will Shardmage's Rescue. I guess. On to... I have no idea, man. I guess onto this Scavenger. And then we want to boost. That gets it above that. And continue to boost wide. And I guess an extra point onto Calix isn't going to hurt anything at this point, too. I mean, there's a chance that they miss another Raise the Past. They might not have it, right? They go for the Sacrifice to Surveil. They can only activate that once. Oh, they sacrifice the one on the Calix so we don't gain life. Oh, that was pretty smart, opponent. That makes a lot of sense, actually. Now, one more Audacity. All 4 Monstrous Rage still making the cut. We push a little bit through. We're still at 24 too. So it might take a while for them to actually push this Vengeful Blood Witch damage through. Yeah, with the extra Surveils... Uh-oh, did they keep that on top? They kept it on top, guys. They kept it on top. Oh, no. Okay. Down to 21. They have a pretty good full swing, actually. I wonder if they have any ways to boost their board state. The nesting bot being an absolute menace here, just generating even more chump blockers when it comes time. Yeah, Demonic Ruckus won't do too much. Like the menace, they easily get around the menace. And we're well past the point where, like we're into the mid game, and the deck list isn't necessarily built for sustainability. The Brynhildr could be decent, help us find more off the top, but also it's an enchantment that boosts the board. Okay, they start with card draw on the Innocence. They still got 5 mana open. They go ahead, send the Caves. I wonder what they ended up keeping on top last turn then. Maybe it was they just wanted to make sure they got like Infestation Sage to draw on the Innocence or something. Voice of Victory. Yeah, at that point too. Yeah, I can't imagine getting this through, guys. Should we concede? Oh, that feels kind of bad though. Oh no, maybe we should concede. Just chump blockers for days. They don't have the sacrifice this time, so we could gain off the Calix. Also, if they like block all 6 into Calix, they get Sephiroth back. Okay, they don't know what's in hand. We'll go for the full swing. Like, we're stuck between a rock and a hard place regardless. But guys, this is one of those games I am 99% certain it's going to be the opponents. I just don't know how they're going to get there right now. So always feel free to skip ahead. Down in the description, we have timestamps. If you mouse over the bottom of the video too, you can actually see the different chapters, so you can skip ahead that way as well. I'm going to stick it out for a few more turns, see what we're dealing with, see if we can actually draw some of our trample. But like I said too, even if we find our trample at this point, at this stage in the game, it's going to be really hard to actually push that damage through. Wait a minute, guys. The opponent only has 17 cards remaining in the deck list. What on earth, dude? Maybe I will stick this out till the very, very end. Not just a couple more turns. All right, we'll play the Razorverge Thicket. Yeah, they got to start swinging eventually, right? I got a couple extra from Voice of Victory. They're going to draw on Innocence when they swing with the Voice. No, they're just going to draw on the Infestation. Surveil 2 here. So they're waiting till the very last moment for Raise the Past, I suppose. Raise the Past doesn't bring back Sephiroth, so maybe they have something else. Because they've been milling the Sephiroth, right? Maybe they have something else that can hit 3 or less. I don't think that one gift card hits 3 or less, right? They just swing with Voice of Victory, guys. They get 4 more Surveils. 13 cards remaining in the opponent's deck list. 12 cards remaining in the opponent's deck list. Oh my goodness, what exactly are they searching for here, guys? Alright, Engine's up 3. Sephiroth, hi. Maybe they were sending it because they already had one left in hand. They go ahead, they sacrifice one of the warriors. Those are going to sacrifice themselves anyways. We go down to 20, they go up to 31. Oh, and then Sephiroth has the same ability too. Oh, okay. Bartolome. Oh my goodness, dude. So not your typical Raise the Past deck list. I actually really like the opponent's list, including the Sephiroth is really neat. Also, I don't know if Raise the Past deck lists usually have Voice of Victory, but this one does, which is actually an excellent addition with Enduring Innocence and everything in here. The opponent has 9 cards remaining in the deck list. Looks like they are going to be able to flip the Sephiroth this turn with Bartolome regardless. Like, they can just take the time. Oh, they sacrifice Voice of Victory, of all things to sacrifice here. Maybe they're going to, I guess, sacrifice Infestation Mage, then 2 insects. They're draining 2 every time. Do they have lethal? They do flip the Sephiroth. Now what does the backside do? It's a 5/5. They pass it back. We see land. Okay, okay. We could gain 7 off the swing. They got 1 card remaining. They're at 38. I want to let them play it out, but it's going to take a while for them to sacrifice. And I got to think about the time in the video, right? Good game, opponent. Good game. It's also a lot of buttons for the opponent to click. Anyways, I got to read the backside of this Sephiroth sometime too. Let me see it real quick here. So Supernova. As this creature transforms into Sephiroth One-Winged Angel, you get an emblem with whenever a creature dies, target opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1 life. Okay, so they got an emblem then over here. Ah, okay, okay, that's cool. Whenever Sephiroth attacks, you may sacrifice any number of other creatures. If you do, draw that many cards. Oh my goodness, dude. So yeah, as long as they kept Blood Witch on the board, Sephiroth swings in the air next turn down to 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. They could do 5, and then that's another 10 damage. Oh, I should have let them play that out, guys. I should have read Sephiroth first. That would have been a fun swing. I'm sorry, opponent. The Sephiroth swing would have been fun. But also, we don't know if they would have taken their time at the beginning of their turn. Yeah, no, I should have let them swing. That's neat, man. Raise the Past with Sephiroth. That actually, that looks pretty fun. Yes. Boy, those Monstrous Rage would have come in handy. But also, I could have played that last one out pretty differently. Oh, speaking of pretty differently, I should have played Scavenger on turn 2. Oh, thank goodness, man. I didn't get punished. Turn 2 Scavenger so we can keep Shardmage's Rescue open. Now this turn, though, Shardmage's Rescue open, and we get to swing into that with a Monstrous Rage. We're going to maximize damage while we have it. All right. Shardmage's Rescue open. Let's see what they ramp into off the Llanowar Elves. Hopefully nothing too good. Dredger's Insight. Okay. We'll still save the Shardmage's Rescue then. We don't have to play it for the sake of extra damage or counters here. Second Llanowar Elves is pretty good. I'm going to go right into Calix, I think. It'd be nice to be able to keep the Shardmage's Rescue open, but it's also not terrible here. Calix probably has a bigger target on its back. We get the trample damage through and we can copy the roll. I'm pretty sure it doesn't say non-token, right? Non-legendary enchantment. Attach the roll. Okay, yeah, there we go. I guess we attach it to Calix. And then we boost wide. Yeah, guys, Calix is one of those cards. I should have read it when I went over the deck list, because even though I know Calix, I should have read it again just to know the little nuances for these games, because that's pretty important. Holy cow, Yuna comes down way too early here, picking up a Leyline Binding from the grave, picking up the Calix. That is a good hit, man. That is really good for the opponent. So the second Monstrous Rage onto the Scavenger. If they block with Yuna, I think we actually have lethal damage if they don't block. Well, we definitely have lethal because we have Shardmage's Rescue too. Yeah, so that gets it up to 11. Shardmage's Rescue gets it up to 13. Now, if they would have blocked, we would have done 9 damage that turn. Yuna would have died. It was risky to not block, but also I understand losing their 5-mana creature that I also don't know what it does. The opponents are starting to play with new cards, guys, so bear with me as I learn them right alongside with you. We got a 5-mana 3/5. So, excuse me, Yuna and enchantment creatures you control have trample, lifelink, and ward 2. Wow, okay. And then at the beginning of your end step, return up to 1 target enchantment card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a finality counter on it. Yeah, you can see why they didn't want to block with this, right? For real, if they were able to mill more or discard enchantments from their hand, it could be just the biggest and chunkiest enchantments. Yeah. Yeah. I totally understand. And a lot of things had to line up well for us to actually push the excess damage through there, so... If they would have blocked, there still, even if we got 9 through, there still would have been a chance. No, if they would have blocked, I wouldn't have played the Shardmage's Rescue. I would have saved that for protection and then tried to win on the swing next turn. And then hopefully they wouldn't have found anything else huge off of a second Yuna or something, right? All right. Opponent goes first. This is keepable, right? I think so. Toadstool Admirer. Come on down, buddy. Storm Chaser's talent. Okay. Let's go ahead and get the Inspiring Vantage down. Swing, see what they do. Maximize damage. Shardmage's Rescue open. Yeah, that's what we like to see, man. Third mana. Slickshot show off. All right, well, it looks like we're not going to use the Shardmage's Rescue this turn, but yeah, we want to hold off. We're going to have Calix next turn. Calix dies. Could wait for 4 mana for the Calix, I guess. Taken 5. Monstrous roll. It's going to be much better after the Calix drops anyways. Yeah, waiting for... Oh, wow. Optimistic Scavenger is pretty good, too. Waiting for turn 4 Calix is probably a little better. Because we know exactly what their deck list does with bounce spells and everything. Optimistic Scavenger is such a good draw here, guys. It really is. We can actually go roll onto the Scavenger if we wanted to, but it's still probably better to save it. Still keep the Shardmage's Rescue open. Yeah, maximizing damage is one thing. Roll onto Scavenger and then extra counter onto Admirer would be good for 1 extra, but we just have to be very patient. And then it's okay if we don't... If we play Shardmage's Rescue this turn as well. Now, Rescue is just hexproof. It doesn't give hexproof and indestructible, so we don't really have a good block here. So hopefully we don't die, because I don't plan on blocking. Yeah, even if we get the Scavenger up to a 3-3, or higher if we really want to play roll, or the Monstrous Rage, then I'm pretty sure the Prowess would still get ahead, and their own Monstrous Rage would still run over the Scavenger. Just being very, very patient. Also, Sheltered by Ghosts would be excellent off the top. We're alive! Alright. Alright, guys. Yeah, we didn't have to play Shardmage's Rescue, so I guess that's that. Try Calix next turn. And again, just be very patient here. Calix, boost the Admirer. Now they could easily win in the air with the Slickshot show off. Gonna boost wide while we have the Rescue open. If it was a Burst Lightning, they just want to wait for their turn. Okay, this is one of those games where Sheltered by Ghosts would be almost necessary. I think we easily die to the show off in the air. I'm going to keep the Shardmage's Rescue, guys. We're going to keep 2 blockers on the ground because I also think that's necessary. We'll try swinging with the Admirer. We're going very slow, but that's because we're on the defense. And like I'm pretty positive we're the ones on the defense here, so it's a tough decision. We're boosting wide. Get ready for the Rescue. It looks like they are going to wait for the very last moment here to try a bounce spell, maybe? No, nothing, guys. They just wait for their turn to maximize the amount of damage on the Slickshot show-off. They go for the full swing. Like I said, forced into some blocks for real. If they don't have it with the show-off, then maybe we can survive the turn. Either way, they want to go all in to show off. They don't need to do anything fancy with Swift Spear or the Otter. Like Monstrous Rage on to show off, Burst Lightning to face. That would be it. Torch the tower onto Calix, so we can protect the Calix. Maybe, right? We still got 3 mana open, and then drop both counters onto Scavenger. Now Scavenger could get bounced. It's going to be a Braid. 3 damage. Is it going to be more? Oh, they wanted the trade. We're alive, guys. Oh my goodness. And they're at 11. I cannot believe it. Like, how lucky did we just have to get? Very lucky? And Shardmage's rescue's crazy business, man. Okay. Swing. Okay. We're going for it. Good game, opponent. Yeah. Even if they, I guess, even if they had a bounce for Calix, we still had instant speed enchantment on Monstrous Rage for the extra counter onto the Admirer. I don't know, but the Shardmage's rescue let us just boost wide and not worry about a bounce spell for Calix. But any other enchantment too, yeah, I guess we would have put all into Admirer because the ward too, and they only had 1 mana open. I mean, that's what the deck list is trying to do, right, guys? I want to see more of the summon. We're going to push it a little over time. We're 36 minutes in. Win or lose, I'm relatively satisfied, I guess, right? Some of these have been pretty tough uphill battles, and the wins kind of felt like we had to get a little lucky too, so I don't know. I'm a little split as of right now. I do know one thing. If Naya Enchantments was going to work, then Starting Town is just perfect land for this. I'd love to see more Starting Town today too. There's the summon. Yes. Yes, absolutely, bro. I think I might start with Demonic Ruckus. Plotting that up. Turn 2 Scavenger. No, then we'll just have a green source open. We just start with Scavenger and hope it doesn't die. And if it does die, maybe we'll find more Scavengers off the Brynhildr top ability. Yeah, starting with Scavenger, that way we can curve out properly as well. That's important. Alright guys, let's go ahead, pause the recording until the opponent shows up. Alright guys, the opponent arrived and they dropped the mulligan twice. They're down to 5 cards, but they're on the draw, so they get back up to 6. They clicked the mulligans pretty fast. They must have been pretty bad hands. Maybe missing some mana. Maybe they're also running a 3-color deck list. So far, the mana's been good. It's like I said, though, I'd love to see more Starting Town. Hey, there we go. Yeah. Nice. All right. Brynhildr, come on down. Boost the Scavenger. Both of these have a pretty good target on his back. Oh, especially since Calix just got exiled. Holy cow, Brynhildr's out of the equation, man. If we thought Brynhildr didn't survive before, Brynhildr's out of here. We'll see, though. Like I said, they had the mulligan down to 5. But what a curve, then. And just anything that gives you, like, any extra card advantage from the Brynhildr first ability. I mean, if you can actually pull it off, then it is excellent extra card advantage. I wonder what's in the opponent's hand, guys. Yeah. I mean, they're not dropping mana. If they went down to 5 and kept only a Fabled Passage, and then played Fabled Passage, they also thinned their deck list from the passage. But I can't imagine if they went down to 5. Maybe they got really, really unlucky with mana. All right, timer's almost up here. All right, it passes back, guys. We see a Calix off the top, but either way, we're going to play the Calix off the Brynhildr here. Before combat, for sure. Calix gets haste. Boost wide, I would say. All right, I feel bad because the opponent's definitely missing mana, but Brynhildr gets copied from the Calix, boost onto Scavenger, boost onto Calix. The opponent's letting us play this out, so So I'm going to play it out. Inspiring Vantage was the exile off the other Brynhildr. Now, this one is going to die to the chapter 3, but any creature still has haste, right? So we still have Brynhildr haste from our hand. And at that point, Monstrous Rage will also be open because Starting Town will count as our second red source, which is just crazy business, man. Holy cow. Also, I guess we could see even more off the Brynhildr. Opponent, I'm so sorry, buddy. I'm sorry you didn't get your second mana, and the mulligan down to 5 is brutal. Yeah, I can imagine this would have been a little bit of a different game, but at the very least, we have to look at this curve in this lineup and be impressed by this, right? We have to, at least a little bit. Still, if they found mana, then maybe they would have found a lot of removal too, especially for the Calix. That would have been pretty essential, I would say. So Tomakul is probably even better to give haste to off the Brynhildr ability. Well, no, not necessarily, right? Because well, it doesn't matter anyways, guys. We just go. We just go anywhere. And then we'll boost all into Honor Guard because of the ward too. Good game, opponent. I'm sorry, buddy. I wish you would have found your mana because I would have loved to actually play that out because we curved really well. That was a proper curve. Yeah. Yeah, I guess we were just overdue for some more victories, huh? 41 minutes in. Let's go talk about this deck list because, yeah, that should probably be the last one, even though I would have loved to actually have a real game, right? Oh, I wonder what number Kellen that is. Dude, I got to try that card soon. Naya Enchantments. Or try the card again. I played with Kellen in the past, I'm pretty sure. Where are you, Kellen? Where are you? What number are you? Kel? Oh, it's number 4, actually. Or maybe I already had 4. I'm just getting confused, maybe. I have no idea. Naya Enchantments. All right. Here's the deck list again, guys. Woo, buddy. Especially against that Raise the Past deck list, I could have played it out much better, guys. I should have never swung with the Admirer. That's all in hindsight, though. I was still thinking in my head that it's all too easy for them to find removal, pay the extra ward too, because they had 4 mana or they were about to have 4 mana. I think they already had 4 mana on the board, right? So the thought process was, at the very least, we trade this in for 3 of their creatures, right? But the problem is their creatures loved dying. So they got a token back. They got their enduring card back onto the board, which drew them so many cards throughout that game, right? So I should have been patient. I should have kept the Admirer back with the Audacity, and maybe after some boosts off of Calix and Optimistic Scavenger, we could have had a huge towering Toadstool Admirer swing through a couple turns in a row. Maybe we could have survived. I honestly, I'm not convinced though, but yes, I do think that early game especially, I could have played out a little better in that Raise the Past deck list. If I played it again, I think I would know. Anyways, the extra ward 2 on Tomakul and Toadstool Admirer, it's just always going to come in handy, man, except versus Nowhere to Run deck lists, which surprisingly, I haven't seen too many of those recently, which is a little weird. Let me know in the comments, have you been seeing a lot of Nowhere to Run? Because that card's going to be devastating versus this deck list. It gets around Shardmage's Rescue Hexproof too, so. Now, -3/-3, though, with Nowhere to Run, it could be easy to get your creatures above the -3 by just smacking a bunch of extra counters on, or like Ethereal Armor. But on the stack of Ethereal Armor, that's when they flash in the Nowhere to Run, so hopefully you also have a flash enchantment or something to counteract that, get that boost, get a couple extra counters, hopefully get above the -3/-3. So it's not going to be unheard of. While the card is really good versus this deck list, it's not going to be unheard of for your creatures to actually survive. Summon Brynhildr, especially in that last game, we got to see where this is pushing the aggro through, man. Like, it's already an aggro deck list, but what we got to see there is where the haste comes into play when you curve out properly. Scavenger, Brynhildr into Calix, giving Calix haste, then swinging with Scavenger and Calix. Well, what am I saying? Swinging with all of them. right? So you could swing with all of them after you've curved out properly, and it's whenever Calix or an enchanted creature you control deals damage. So all that you need to do is actually get the Calix through for damage, and then you can copy the Brynhildr, see even more off the top, and have even more ways to give haste next turn. If they find one piece of removal for one Brynhildr, then they probably just want to pop the Calix instead. Now you still have two Brynhildrs and potentially the top ability just helping you see more off the top, right? Or whatever you ended up seeing for those first couple turns. Hopefully that makes sense. That I just confused myself, so hopefully I said that well. Anyways, yeah, I like this. I like this a lot. Where there's a little bit of anti-synergy is you don't really want to put your auras onto the Brynhildr. This is just an enchantment, and you want to treat it as an enchantment. You don't necessarily want to treat it as a creature. The times where you treat it as a creature is when the second Brynhildr comes down with haste, right? And then you can swing in that way, or you want to treat it as a creature when you're about to win the game type of business, right? So you are about to win because you're about to play Ethereal Armor. Then you can put Ethereal Armor onto the Brynhildr. You can put an Audacity onto the Brynhildr, swing, win the game that way. Outside of that, kind of just treat it as an enchantment. It's giving you some extra value. Yeah. I think that makes a lot of sense to me. Over Demonic Ruckus, guys, I think I would prefer Feather of Flight. I thought, well, first of all, I thought today that Demonic Ruckus plot was going to come in handy more than it did. It did not. Feather of Flight obviously doesn't have plot. When it enters, you draw a card. I think the flying would have come in handy a little bit more. Now, personally, I'm not going to change anything, but that's very, very important and something to think about, especially what you're seeing. Feather of Flight in that Raise the Past deck list could have really turned the tides. Putting Calix in the air with that lifelink from the Sheltered by Ghost and swinging for just a couple turns, getting a ridiculous amount of life gain, getting a huge amount of damage through, we could have put all our eggs onto the Calix basket and maybe won in just a few turns, right? So, yeah, flying in. Now, at some point in that Raise the Past deck list, they did have that one Infestation card that I don't remember the full name of, but when it dies, they get a flyer, so they would have been able to chump in the air. That being said, you're not always going to be too worried about chump blockers because we still have ways to give trample on the Rage and the Audacity. I just wasted the Audacity that game on the Admirer and then traded in, and then we didn't end up drawing any more of the trample either, so the mana base felt pretty good, didn't it, guys? 3-color mana bases are rough, but just opting for the fast land and all 4 starting towns, I think 3-color aggro might be back on the menu. What do you guys think? I don't know. It really depends. Yeah, we have all these fast land. You just rock all the fast land in starting town and your 3-color aggro. I don't know, man. It's something to keep your eye on, and there might be some really good combinations with insane synergies to look through. Because as you put a 3-color deck list together, what you'll realize is there's just so many options, huh? Yeah, we didn't have too many cards in the sideboard for honorable mentions earlier, but we could have packed it completely full of enchantments and whatnot that would work well in here. We could have packed it full of mice. We could totally go the mice route with this deck list and try for even more aggro that way, right? And if we go mice, then I'd love to try Brynhildr with the mice too. Because, you know, Heartfire Hero doesn't have haste. Brynhildr could give it haste, right? So, and Manifold Mouse doesn't have haste. Brynhildr gives it haste. And just finding extra things off the top with this, pairing that with your Challenger too. Challenger finding extra things with this too. I mean, we've been avoiding mice intentionally for, I don't even know, a couple months at this point, right? I haven't put a mice video up in a while, but maybe it's time to not avoid it because maybe we can find some fun things to do with it. And Brynhildr enchantments with mice actually sounds really sick. And that being said, I don't know if we'd want Naya enchantments at that point. We might as well just go Boros enchantments. Boros mice enchantments with the new Brynhildr, see how it goes, right? But it depends. There's a lot of reasons to go Selesnya. Like pairing Calix on the top end with our ward abilities with just the power level of Monstrous Rage. That's enough reason to go Naya, right? But then we got to try out the new summon too, so... And Brynhildr is one of my favorite new cards. I feel like barely scratched the surface of what it's capable of so far. Yeah. Yeah, that's what I feel like so far with Brynhildr, but we'll see. We'll see. We'll keep an eye on it for sure. Guys, if you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. Let me know what you thought of the deck list down in the comments. Somewhere in the middle of the video, I was starting to get like not convinced by it, right? But then we kind of got to see a little more synergies. We got to see more of the aggro side too, which was pretty essential. There's going to be way too many games. I bring this up sometimes with Sheltered by Ghost, but it's going to be way too many games where it literally does just come down to, did you draw Sheltered by Ghost or didn't you? Which is a shame, but that really is, that tells you how powerful Sheltered by Ghost is on so many different levels, right? You stack a Sheltered by Ghost Ward 2 onto a Ward 2 on Toadstool Admirer, the opponent's having a real hard time getting rid of it, and then you're boosting it with Scavenger, Calix, you're dropping Trample on it with Monstrous Rage. I mean, it just gets gross so fast, huh? So, all right, anyways, guys, enough rambling. If you made it this far into the video for real, y'all are champions. Did I go over the YouTube side of things? But just in case I didn't, guys, make sure you check out that description where we do have that Discord link as well as that Patreon link too if you're interested in joining either of those up or supporting the channel that way. And also, guys, if you liked the video, make sure you actually drop it a like. If you enjoyed the channel, then consider subscribing because it really does help out the channel. So thank you, guys. All right, I will see you in the next video.